I know the name Hardcore Henry fits this movie better and it flows more as a movie title, but I kind of wish they just sticked with hardcore for its movie title because it's such a raw description of this hardcore movie. So Hardcore Henry is directed by Ilya Neishler, not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. It's a first-of-its-kind action movie that is filmed entirely through the first-person point of view of a man named Henry, who wakes up as a cyborg after some sort of accident and is soon chased down by a group of people that want to kill him. Now, the story of this movie I don't think was the main point when making this movie. That was kind of a secondary note to being a fun action movie that's filmed in the first-person point of view and trying to bring something new to the cinema, which it certainly does, and it certainly is a lot of fun. Now, before we talk about the action of this movie, let's talk about the acting and the characters of this movie, which are actually pretty well done for a movie that focuses a lot on the action. Now, there's only around 3 main characters in this film that show up other than Henry himself, but all of them are actually pretty well acted, especially Jimmy by Sharlto Copley. While Sharlto Copley is definitely a larger actor than the other 2 main actors in this film, I still want to give him props for being a very good asset to this film, as his character Jimmy is hilarious, interesting, he has a good backstory to him, and Sharlto Copley carries it the entire way, being like the best actor in this entire movie and giving a really well done performance. And the best part of this entire movie is definitely the action and special effects, which work for a number of reasons. For number one, when comparing it to a movie like Mad Max Fury Road last year, Mad Max was a great action movie because it did action on a very well done practical level and it tried to keep some logic to it. But the great thing about this movie is that, one, it doesn't try to be logical at all. This is definitely one of the most illogical movies I've seen all of this year, and that doesn't take away from it at all. If you are going in and looking for a logical movie, you should go look somewhere else, because this isn't it. But because it suspends all logic, it is able to suspend all action logic, which makes the film ridiculously graphic and ridiculously illogical on the action scenes, but it does it right. It's filmed really well done. The cinematography throughout is fantastic for the action scenes, and the CGI used for the special effects is really well done as well, though there are cheesy moments, not to say that there isn't. But at the same time, the ones that aren't cheesy are really well done. It's super fun to watch, and if you're into a graphic action movie that doesn't make a lot of sense, you'll love this movie. And the flaws for this movie are pretty obvious if you watch the trailer. It doesn't have a great story to it. It's a decent story, and it could have been a lot worse, but it's not that great. But at the same time, it does focus on that as a secondary piece. And except for Jimmy, none of the characters are very well developed at all, especially not Henry. If you're looking to figure out what exactly happened to Henry to get him in this situation, you're not really going to figure it out. Like, it explains part of it, but at the same time, it keeps it very broad because this movie focuses so much on the action, and that's where I'm going to get into the biggest flaw this movie could have for some people, which is that it's meant for specific people and not meant for other specific people. If you like video games, or if you like ridiculously graphic action movies that suspend your logic for around an hour and a half, then you will enjoy this movie a lot, because personally I did, and not only do I play video games, but I love kind of dumb action movies, and this is definitely what that movie is. However, if you are easily motion sick, if you liked Mad Max last year because it was a very logical movie, if you don't like huge amounts of graphic gore, and if you don't like video games, stay far away from this movie, because this movie is definitely not for you. But for what the film set out to do, I think it accomplished it greatly. It had great cinematography and great choreography throughout the entire movie. It had really well done action and actually well done special effects. The characters were interesting, and the acting was actually better than I expected it to be. It definitely doesn't have that great of a story, and if you go in expecting a logical film, you're gonna hate this movie. But personally, I enjoyed it a lot, and for what it set out to do, it was a well done film, and I'm gonna give this film 3.75 stars. Guys, hopefully within the next few weeks or so, I'm going to be reviewing a lot more movies. There are a lot of movies that are out in my theaters right now that I'm looking forward to seeing, and hopefully I will review them for you guys. There are also a few things I want to do that I haven't gotten around to doing, such as making an overrated Star Wars review and also making my best films of last year. Stick around for those videos. Hopefully they'll be up within the next few weeks, and as always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.